this is Nikki and I'm here to share the messages that I get from Spirit and from all of our higher selves that are on this journey to love. And so this deck is called The Journey of the Hidden Realm. I love it. And Barbara Moore, and art is by Julia Jeffrey. And I just really love the artwork. And so I wanted to share this reading because look at the card that I just cut it at, the moon. I did this yesterday evening because I was just interested because I've been just started using these cards again. And I just basically asked to tell me what I needed to know basically. And I'm going to share it because, again, it was so synchronistic when it came out. I was just like, oh, again, just when it makes you think you've got so much amazing guidance that's coming through from Spirit and everyone that wants us all to succeed on this journey. And so the first card, and this is why, because if you follow my videos, then one goes from the next to the next to the next. And I said that recently I've done a Reiki Seikim course, and in that I shared that I saw me and my twin and we turned from porcupine to possum, and it was symbolic because we had to release guilt and shame. And there was a big sort of that, you know, obviously with the moon cycles and everything, we're always letting go of energies that we don't need anymore. And we're all taking our piece of the pie and, you know, that big energetic pie that we're all clearing through. And so when I started doing this and I drew the cards last night, the first card was the little hedgehog, which is similar to the possum and the porcupine. And so I thought, oh, no way, that's amazing. And so in it, this animal symbolism around it is basically about releasing guilt and shame, basically. It's a reminder to not get lost in the adult world of guilt, you know, guilt, shame, and all of that, and to rekindle and to renew again your childlike vision of the world and to try to recapture that in your life. So, which was just, you know, which again is so perfect. So I'm going to read through the actual, I'm going to read through using the book because the book meanings is so beautiful. And again, it's just a really strong reminder of amazing guidance, really, because it was about saying, rekindle your youth. You know, the Queen of Swords is about having, and I can relate totally to this at the moment, is about being a bit battle worn, but be sort of owning your journey and owning your truth and being able to kind of speak very, is to not get, you know, like is to basically speak from a kind of centered, if you know, when you're like really centered and you're not kind of dramatic and you're not, you know, you've had a shit time, it's been really difficult, but actually that's led you to a much calmer place because actually, you know, you don't need to fly off the handle, but equally you can say what you need to say, but you do it with compassion. And so that's what's so brilliant, because it's about releasing the guilt and shame, having a new beginning, looking at each other with childlike eyes, but equally not being able to say it like it is, right? But do that with compassion and do that in a kind of childlike way, you know, to be open about your feelings, to not hide your feelings, but to do it in a compassionate way. And then the next one was the Nine of Cups, which was about business wishes coming true. And the wishes coming true is, again, to say, you know, that there is this new beginning. There is this sense of, you know, you will have to speak your truth. And, you know, the wishes are coming true. So keep going, basically. And then the next one was that, you know, the Two of Pentacles. And again, this is the explanation of this. I love this because it's got two little primroses here as well. And that's about making a decision, and in order to make the decision, and you know, at every point of this journey, there's always decisions to be made. Do I want to fall into this kind of like depths of despair and grief and let the roller coaster dunk me, or do I want to go into the hermit mode and really trust my intuition? Because what this shows the progression, right? Which again, I just thought was so lovely, because it was like the progression of, actually, there is a decision which way you go. If you follow the road of being very internal and really following your truth, you turn into the high priestess. When you turn into the high priestess, you're listening to your intuition. And the final outcome then was the Hierophant. And the description of the Hierophant card is so lovely, because it's basically the teacher and the master entwining into one. And I take that as you and your twin actually realizing that you are on a journey of learning from each other's energy. And therefore you are always the teacher and the master. And you are kind of spinning this, you know, you're basically ever evolving on this kind of like eternal infinite ladder, right? And so you're the master and teacher all in one. So when this came as the final card, I was like, oh my god, that's such a, you know, that just that journey in itself is amazing. And then just as I was coming to do this read, look at what's the last card was. When I cut it, it was the moon. And so it is about, the moon always, you know, brings stuff up, doesn't it? It's a hugely emotional time, makes you feel super weird. And yeah, it's kind of like once you really tap into that energies of the moon cycle, you really notice it. And so I'm just going to read through these cards, because again, they were just so beautiful, and the messages were just, you know, again, kind of like just gorgeous as a reminder of what the guidance that they want to give. So, this card holds a very special gift. There is a human saying about not despising small beginnings. Hedgehog, the Ace of Pentacles, shows up to remind you that very saying. In fact, not only should you not despise this small beginning, but you should also treasure it. For you don't even realize the possibilities that have just been presented to you. Right now, in this moment, listen carefully and hear the rustle of leaves. Watch for the emerging bundle of goodness. Recognize its value no matter how silly or sweet or awkward. Within that small seed is the potential to achieve amazing things. What you do with it is up to you. So I love that, because it is saying, look, you have the potential here. You know, release that guilt and shame. Move into this new beginning, and you're being offered a gift. So the next one, the Queen of Swords. Again, this is like being able to speak your truth, but doing it in a compassionate way. This card represents a person with a lot of life experience, and not all of it necessarily happy. She is smart, analytical, and honest. She is never a victim of her circumstances. Rather, she sees all difficulties as challenges. She may not be pleased by everything that happens or that others do, but she will do what is necessary to achieve her goals. With an uncanny ability to see connections and patterns, she is able to draw on her own experiences and impart wisdom to others. At times, bitterness may tinge her normally thick, calm voice. Even this strong lady can feel weary of always rising above life's misfortunes. Well, I definitely can feel that. You know, you do get weary. There's no point. There's no two ways about it. But the point is, it's about, again, being able to navigate your way through it, just like that says. It's about looking at the journey and looking at the challenges, and instead of seeing it as a victim, it's a challenge, right, to overcome. Because the Nine of Cups indicates a sense of satisfaction with your life. During happy times, it is easy to feel satisfied. And if this card comes up in the midst of such a time, it lets you know that you should enjoy it and be grateful. If, however, it shows up during a challenging time, it reminds you to reflect on your past, to remember the unexpected gifts that come from overcoming challenges. Look for the opportunities here and now. Whether facing good times or bad, behave in such a way that when you look back on your actions, it will be with satisfaction and not with regret. So really, really, really spot on. So be mindful of how you approach things, and, you know,